Very funny, Dutch. Very funny. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Barnstead, New Hampshire. It's the podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. Oh, what's up, boys? Matt, Tom, Dutch, Dave, Judge, Bat, what's happening? Our guest just had to jump out. His headphones stopped working and triggered a couple little things on the thing, and he looks like he's going to be right back. So let's hold on a second here, folks. Marvin, how's it working this time?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Oh, thank you, Johnny.
Perfect. All right. So like I said, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Today's episode brought to you obviously by Uncle Steve Shake. What can I say, guys? Uncle Steve, we know him, we love him. Love his product. 18 amazing flavors, including the sauce with no name. Steve wears all the hats. He's mixing the shake, bottling, packaging, labeling, shipping. He is his own HR department, like it or not. He's answering the emails. He's answering the phone calls. He'll email you or give you a phone call if he has a question about your order. Or if you kind of trying to figure out flavor profiles, give him a call. And he'll work with you to get your flavor profile dialed and ready to go. Yeah, amazing guy. Check him out at UncleSteveShake.com. Also on Facebook at Uncle Steve Shake Nation. Uncle Steve Shake. Shake some on everything. NBL, what's up? Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Man, Gabriel and his crew doing an amazing job day in, day out, week after week, year by year. Amazing protein selection. You need a specific cut, he's got you covered. Are you looking for something he might not carry? He'll work with you to get it in. Fresh produce brought in daily. For all us comp and backyard cooks, he got us covered too. Lines of rubs, seasoned sauces, injections, marinades, smoky wood products, splits, chunks, chips, pellets. The Joe's Meat Market house line of seasoning, amazing. You there? You feeling a little hungry? He got you covered too. Gabriel's mom's behind the counter whipping up the freshest authentic Mexican cuisine out there. Get yourself a plate, get yourself a bowl, sit down, talk to the boys, that old school feeling. Make a new friend in barbecue that'll last a lifetime. Like I said, if you're ever in the Royce City, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, swing on by, say hi to Gabriel and the boys. Tell them I sent you. And remember, folks, Joe's Meat Market for the win. And here we go. This weekend, it is officially Comp Week. We have the third and final leg of the New England Triple Crown. We started in Vermont, moved down to Rhode Island. Now we're right down the street in Litchfield, New Hampshire. Right in my backyard, baby. We'll be ready to go. Auto for the jack and those so pretty belt buckles for the Triple Crown winner. The race is tight. It is anybody's game. I believe there are 7 or 8 teams in the Triple Crown, and at this point, anybody can win it. So it's going to be an epic weekend. If you're in town, swing on in. Let's go. Uncle Steve, what's up? Uwe Braun, brother, I wish you could be here too. And I love the idea of your sausage class. Man, if I was there, I'd be all over that. Patrick Cullen, what's up? You better be icing down the butterscotch as we speak, sir, because I'm ready to go. Kettleheads Barbecue and Beer. What's up, brother? Been a while, my man. All right. Marvin is still having some issues here. So we'll give it another minute, and then if I gotta call him, we'll take a quick little TV time out to connect back. Joe, what's happening, brother? But yeah, guys, I'm excited about the comp this weekend. And like you saw in the chat, UPS lost my meat. I can't. Oh man, craziness. But we got a new package coming out. Should be here. I believe Matt said it's going to be Wednesday. Root beer this weekend. Okay, I'm in. Don't twist my arm that hard. Can anybody send me some great shots of Greg's cooks? I want to put together a showcase of some of my best. Greg's, what did I miss? Steve, I'll talk to you. You'll let me know. But all right, looks like Marvin is back. Marvin, do you have me?
Hello again.
There you are. All right. Don't you love technology, guys. Marvin?
I'm really new to this podcast stuff.
Oh, it's okay, brother. I've been at it 7 years and I still don't know what I'm doing. And the chat will agree with that comment. I haven't.
How did you get into this?
Honestly, we got drunk in my buddy's garage one night. That's the God's honest truth. It was back in 2018, and a couple of my friends started a Facebook group, New England Pet Masters, Kevin and Chris. And Chris was having a party and was doing a big 24-pound brisket. And we all swung over after work and we're hanging out. And this was in the infancy of Facebook Live. And we were all sitting around doing what we do. We're standing around the grills and the smokers, and we're just talking shop and, what we're using on this and what we're using on that. And someone had gone live on Facebook and was broadcasting the whole thing. And none of us knew it. So we were it literally caught us in our rawest moments of just doing what we do every weekend. And I got to work on Monday, and a bunch of the guys came up to me and said, I don't know. They're like, what was that on Saturday night? I'm like, what was what? Because I still had no idea. So they brought it up on the phone and they showed. And we're like, oh, that's what we do. He goes, well, we don't know what the hell you were talking about, but it was entertaining. So at the time, we just started talking about doing one. A dear friend of mine had a podcast studio. My friend Dave Garofalo from his show, The Cigar Authority. He owns a couple, 3 cigar stores, Two Guy Cigars. And he had built the studio on his second floor of his store. And so I talked to him. I go, hey, what do you think about bringing us in to do a podcast? Oh, I'd love it. So he had us in and, we talked and set it up and away we went. A week later, that was August 8th of 2018. And here we are closing in on August 8th of 2025. And we're still going. But yeah, that's literally how it started, out of a whim on a Saturday night, a bunch of guys hanging around. just talking barbecue and live fire, and someone happened to record it.
So I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
How do you manage your work-life podcast balance? Because you told me what you do as your day job. Is that a secret, by the way?
No, everybody knows I'm a mailman. No, everybody is well aware.
I am so impressed by that, because I have the greatest. I just have so much respect for people who are out there, no matter the weather. Not just delivering the mail, but I'm sure. I don't know if you've ever delivered babies, but you read the stories about what mail delivery people have done, and it's pretty much everything.
Oh yeah, we did. There's some stories, but nothing as crazy as that of delivering a baby. But yeah, we're in the public almost, definitely 6 days a week, sometimes 7, and we know everything. We're like the gossip queens of the neighborhood. We know everything about everybody, and who's moving in, who's moving out, who's away, and who had a new baby, who became new grandparents, and who's doing. It's and our customers, they let us in their lives. And we deal with everything. Hey, John, I didn't get a chance to do this, but we're going away starting tomorrow. I'll run down to the post office and fill out. Don't, just give me the dates. I'll take care of it when I get back. Because I always make the biggest joke, especially on when new people move into my route in my neighborhood. I go, listen, if you need anything, let me know. Because in theory, you don't have to go to the post office. If I want to go home, I have to go back to the post office. So I have to go there. You don't. So if I can pick something up for you and just drop it off, just let me know. I'll get you whatever you need. And and they appreciate it, and made a lot of friendships over the years, and yeah. But to answer your question, how I do a balance of it all, it gets hard. It gets hard, especially during the holiday season between Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's our busiest time of year. So we're working all types of crazy hours. So I'll have to schedule some pre-recorded shows for like the month of December, just to have those ready to go, because I might not get home in time to go live. So we do that, but while I'm delivering, either I'm talking to some of my friends and we're talking barbecue, or I'm listening to a whole list of other barbecue podcasts. So I'm constantly, I call it doing research, because I'm listening to so many of them, because like you said, I'm out on the road 8 to 10 hours a day by myself. So, I'm listening for different guests, different new trends, new products out on the line. And the best way to stay up on that with a busy schedule is the podcast platforms, because in you and I's case right now, we got connected through our dear friends, Len and Jeff, from the Baseball and Barbecue podcast. And I heard, your interview with them the other week, which was fantastic. And, just from that interview, I learned so much about the products you have. But that's it. I kind of incorporate both of them somehow in some crazy way, that I'm doing both. I'm delivering the mail and I'm doing, my podcast work all at the same time. So it just kind of fell in place, I suppose.
But I understand you're also a competitive grill master, right? When I dropped off the samples the other day. We just happened to be, physically nearby one another. I'm up here visiting in Waterville Valley, and you were just an hour and a half away. And not that I don't want to give the business to the post office, but I figured, you live in a nice area and it's a nice drive. And my wife had to do some errands in Plymouth along the way, so dropped her off. Actually, a very important errand. My daughter's getting married, and she was stopping off at a dress store in Plymouth to look at dresses. So very, very important. Shouldn't gloss over that. But anyway, I knew that she would be in Plymouth for a while. And when I pulled into or actually tried to pull into your driveway, that's a separate issue I want to talk to you about. How my 4-wheel drive Subaru Outback was challenged getting, in trying to get up your driveway, or at least getting past the sand pit at the bottom. But that's separate. That's probably a IQ test you have for your visitors. But I saw that giant smoker grill, which I have no idea how you get it up that driveway. You're gonna have to tell me. But anyway, so, and then you mentioned to me that you're going to be competing this weekend, and how often are you on the road competing?
Well, I didn't compete at all last year. One of those times life got in the way, some bills got stacked up, and, got to keep the roof over my head is more important than burning meat in a parking lot somewhere. So didn't do that. And this year I got back into it. And as of right now, I'm only doing 3 competitions, and this will be the third and final one, at least for now. There is some talk about possibly in the early fall, catching one for the final thing. But I get out when I can. It's an expensive hobby. That's one of the first things. The cost for week in, week out of it. But yeah, very excited about this. It's the last leg of the Triple Crown. And our friend Matt has some beautiful belt buckles made up for that. And it also happens to be an automatic qualifier for this year's Jack Daniels Invitational. So the grand champion and winner of this weekend's competition gets an automatic bid to an automatic invite to the Jack Daniels down in Lynchburg at Jack Daniels in mid-October. So there's a lot on the line this weekend. But yeah, once I started competing, I absolutely loved it. It's a great to get back to friends and family. The friends become family. And, you see him so often and talk to him so often. And, it's a family reunion every weekend. And, we have fun on Fridays and Saturdays. And then we're somewhat at each other's throats as of Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon comes and we're all friends again.
So what are you going to be cooking? And any literal secret sauces that you want to let people in on?
Sure.
I'm sure none of your competitors are listening, so you don't have to worry. This is just the family you're speaking to here.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's like, most of us use the same stuff anyway. But we're all cooking. This is a 4-meat competition, so we're all going to be cooking chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket. And my sauce is a mixture of my competition sauce is a mixture of Blues Hog Champions Blend, Blues Hog Smoky Mountain, Blues Hog Tennessee Red, and Craig's Barbecue Sauce by Texas Pepper Jelly. And, that's our base. And, for like ribs or something, I'll add a little spice to it just to kick that up. So there's a little tang on it. But that's pretty much my base all my competition sauces. Around the house, whatever's open. Whatever's open or whatever was on sale that week at the grocery store in a pinch. But yeah, then on Saturday I am helping my friend Matt. We are cooking 400 chicken wings for the people's choice. So we're gonna have a good old time sitting around the pit, telling lies, trying to solve the world's problems.
Wow, solving the world's problems. That used to be a metaphor for just shooting the breeze. But I'll tell you, I don't want to tackle the world's problems, on my weekend off if I can help it. Just look at. I went to the store today and saw the headlines in the New York Times, and I often will buy one of the newspapers, national papers, but boy, I just walked away. There wasn't anything on that front page which wasn't sad and discouraging and made you want to think of other things to spend your time on today. I'm not afraid to look at these problems and do my best to try to, as they say in my tradition, try to heal the world. But I don't know, some days it just seems like a bit much.
That's it. No, I absolutely agree with you. Let's see. Lep, what's up, brother? Chris Rosinski, what's happening? Brother Steven, all the way coming to us live from Trinidad and Tobago. Reggie Q, what's happening? And did I miss any? Jeff Costa. How can I miss my buddy Jeff? We are going to be having a good old time starting Friday morning through early Sunday evening together. But international here, Marvin. And he already has the link up for the GrillFighter tools, so everybody can click on that and go check everything out. He doesn't miss a beat. Big Rome, what's happening? But guys, yeah, so that's it. And like I said, I appreciate you dropping everything off, and I absolutely love it. And you dropped off two other surprises for me to, I suppose, do my dirtiest to, if you will, to put through the paces in a little bit of abuse. And I am proud to say they have held up. But some people are asking probably what the heck I am talking about. So let's get into that. And, Marvin, thank you so much for taking the time to join me this evening. And, thank you so much for dropping these products off for me to put through the ringer, and that we're fresh off using them. So everything is still clear into my mind on how everything worked and any possible improvements I could possibly think of. And I only actually have one.
Okay.
But we'll get into that one. But Marvin, tell us a little about yourself and, how you got into, doing what you do, a little bit of, the innovation factory and everything that came to become what we are talking about this evening, the GrillFighter.
Well, thanks. And thanks for having me on. And it's exciting looking at all the people that have joined this conversation. Wow, it's quite a community. I hope some of them may be joining you and I this coming weekend at the competition, since it's up here in New Hampshire, but it's important. It'd be exciting to see some of your listeners. I've been an entrepreneur for many years. I have a number of products to my credit. I've invented products for everything from cleaning snow and ice off of windshields, axes, and other tools used by firefighters and as well as handyman products for outdoor rescue and survival. But along the way, I took a real interest in barbecue and in how to really improve the whole barbecue experience. A few years ago, as sort of an entrance step, I did some research on what would be the best way to clean barbecues, and actually all the way what would be the best way to clean cast iron, because cast iron's pretty durable but it can get pretty gunky. And so I invented a product. I in a very nice way stalked the management of Lodge Manufacturing across 3 or 4 different trade shows. They didn't realize I kept coming up to their booth looking for the right decision maker, didn't see them, and just came back to another trade show. But eventually, I came to a trade show in Chicago, and one of the most senior people was there, and I showed him this product, which I gave you a sample of. It's a special tool that I had invented with them in mind for cleaning cast iron. It uses smooth chainmail, but with a silicone sponge backing. All these little cutouts are to enable the silicone sponge to be able to act like a sponge. But in fact, it's made of food grade silicone closed cell, which means it inherently can absorb nothing. So that in order for it to be flexible, I had to implement these cutouts. And then in order for it to, quote unquote, absorb water, which inherently it can't because it's closed cell, the water just adheres to all these little crevices. And so effectively, I simulated the kind of sponge you might have by your kitchen sink, except that this never wears out and it never gets stinky, and you can clean the dishwasher. Anyway, I walked up to the booth, showed this to their senior people. They loved the concept. I gave it to them. They tested it, and they called me a week later and asked me to come down to Tennessee. I met with their CEO and their top team, and they liked this so much that they licensed it and have now sold many of them. I'm not currently getting paid per unit, but they were very generous in their original deal with me, and they helped me to really kickstart, all of my work. So this was a product specifically for cast iron, smooth chainmail, large caliber, large diameter. It's not welded, because when you're by hand cleaning a pot, you're not really putting much force, and unwelded chainmail is less expensive. And that's how they were able to sell this at a relatively low price. And I don't know, I think they probably sold maybe, 1 million of these. It's proven pretty popular, and not only popular, but from what I understand from the team at Lodge, they've gotten virtually none of these back. That people look upon this purchase as an heirloom that they're going to pass down to their kids, just like their cookware. So all of that went into informing the next 5 years of work to try to come up with the ultimate barbecue cleaner. I knew I wanted to use chainmail, but it had to be welded. And for cleaning a grill, it needed to also be a little bit more aggressive. It had to have more oomph. So along the way, hopefully you saw this when you did a little close-up looking at the GrillFighter. I invented chainmail made out of square wire, which basically means that it has edges built into it, but it is effectively indestructible. So the difference between this and this, finer, smaller diameter for better granularity, square wire versus smooth wire, and welded. Another difference is that instead of this relatively large, bulky silicone insert for use with the Lodge product, I came up with a much more flexible insert, much thinner, much smaller cutouts. Which this means is that it's much more flexible, and that it allows the chainmail to really follow all the crevices, all of the intricacies of whatever grill surface you're trying to clean. Whereas this, it's more of a two-dimensional, just cleaning the surface of a pot. You don't want it to be able to follow the crevices. But both of these are food-safe silicone, which means that they're good to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And because they can't inherently absorb anything, they never get stinky, and they can be cleaned up in the dishwasher. So the GrillFighter was inspired by my work with the Lodge product, but I think it's hopefully even better suited for cleaning barbecue. There are actually 4 ways to clean with this. You have, of course, the chainmail with the flexible backing. You have this little grate at the front, which is also a plow, so you can actually lift and throw off the food and debris. I've always found when I clean the grill that the first thing I do is want to get all the really gross stuff out of the way, and this scoop allows you to do that. Another one of the ways that you can clean with this is through steam. With the combo that I provided to you, and which we're selling on our site and on Amazon, we provide something called the cauldron. As the name implies, it basically makes it easy to steam, but you really can use anything to hold water, because all you want to do is dunk the GrillFighter in, put it on top of the grill, even 500 degrees temperature, and it'll immediately steam clean. And then finally, and did you use this feature? This little this little claw at the very end. Basically, the way this works is with we call it the pincer. I always was annoyed by the fact that I couldn't clean underneath the grill bars. So what you do is you put it in between the bars, you turn it, and then you angle it over so that this top edge is pushing down on the top of the grill. This is pulling up on the bottom of the grill grate, and by pincering it, you're able to clean the top and the bottom at the same time without lifting the grate off unless you want to. By the way, I believe that there's one must feature for every grill product which I come up with. You can probably guess what that is. The key to it is this little tiny feature right here. You see this little divot? I don't know if you use that to open your favorite brew, but basically adding that divot turns this into a really good bottle opener. So that's basically the GrillFighter in a nutshell. But it took 5 years. I have a shed full of prototypes, lots of dead ends, but also a lot of ideas for other products that I hope to deliver, including some that I gave you, some other prototypes that I'm working on, and which we could talk about tonight if you'd like to. But we just introduced the product. So far, well, rather than saying what people think about it, what do you think about it? Enough about me. Tell me what you think about me.
I absolutely love it, but we do have a question here from Daddy Dutch Barbecue. How many patents or inventions do you have?
I think I have over a dozen patents. going back to the dawn of the internet age, I participated in some of the very earliest patents on internet technology. I have, as you know, in addition to just launching the GrillFighter, I've also launched a new product called the Lifesaver, which is a personal energy generator for survival in the outdoors or during the apocalypse or floods or whatever else may be coming along. And that product also just launched. These products went on completely different trajectories, different patents, different technical teams, different prototyping, lots of prototyping, but they just happened to come together at the same time. So just as I've launched this product, I've also launched my product called the Lifesaver, which has been very well reviewed as well.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Let me write that down because I'm going to have to check that out, because that could possibly also become very handy at a barbecue competition. You never know. But, and Jeff Coster is saying, I want to see this work. Well, Jeff, funny you say that, because you, sir, are going to see this work, because Marvin will be joining us at the competition this week. So you will definitely be there and see it, and have any questions you have. You'll be able to ask Marvin live and in living color. And we're going to have a great time. I know, Matt and Rico are excited that you're coming. But my review, I suppose, of this, it's, first off, wonderful packaging. It's not overburdened package. It's, an average, rectangle, as, let's, for, 16, 18 inches, rectangle box, which came with this, the reservoir, and a handy apron, which is always good. And there it is right there.
And this is the apron. I want people to have fun with this. When I started off on this journey to come up with the ultimate grill cleaner, I wanted grill cleaning to become part of the social experience of barbecue. I think historically, people love barbecue. They love having their friends over. But when it came to cleaning, everybody said, I'm out of here. But I figured that if I came up with a product which was interesting, which really worked, which looked good, which was inspired by sort of medieval artisans, and then joined it with an apron with a coat of arms that actually is modeled on a real coat of suit of armor, and provided that people might, it would be something that would get people talking. Because really, chainmail is a wonderful invention, which is, 500 or 600 years old. I've gone a long way towards, I think, perfecting it, at least for barbecue cleaning. I call it steampunk, but it's still fun, and why not have fun with it?
Yep.
And keep clean while you're doing it.
Absolutely. And in the package, there is a sheet, a pamphlet, of explaining each and every part. And of course, that's the one right there. And of course, me being a typical guy, just kind of pushed that off to the side and just went right into using it. So, not really giving a whole fine tuning, I just thought that as the bottle opener. So that my idea I had of improving was, we get into there and get the right angle. So let me Well, we'll put it up against my head there so we can
Yeah.
I'll see the groove. On either side there, you have the little indention. Okay.
Right.
Now, I was using it, to get the hard bits off the top, and then dunk in the water and hit it with the steam, and it worked amazing. My idea, obviously, not knowing the full function of this with the angle, was if you were to cut these half moons a little bit deeper, you could use that in the leverage to almost take this whole full piece and catch underneath the grate.
That's, these scallops were everything about this was purposeful. These scallops are meant to be able to help you get at the hard bits. The scoop is meant to be able to just scoop stuff away. You'll notice that the sponge overlaps the frame. That's because you can go in between with the sponge and the chainmail. But when you get done, go out to your Weber, stick it in between, go like this, and you'll notice little tiny serrated teeth at the bottom. And you said, what does a bottle opener need serrations? It's because when you go like this, now you're clean for the first time, maybe ever, the bottom of your grill grates without lifting the whole grate up, unless you want to, because you're pushing down. And this little tiny divot, that's all it takes to turn this into a bottle opener. We spent weeks and weeks just studying all the different bottle openers out there, trying to figure out what's the minimum element that would turn this into a really good bottle opener. And this is the result. But boy, I tell you, I'm not saying blood was spilled, but there were a lot of hard feelings among my designers, my interns, as they were competing with, what would be the absolute minimal, almost invisible element, but essential to turn into a bottle opener. But this, I think I get so annoyed by all the stuff on the bottom, which flares up and makes a mess. And anyway, so that's what that's for.
All right. See, because I was thinking on that, I didn't even give a thing, but so we're going to have to wait till this weekend to give that one a shot. Well, because God knows we're going to need it. But overall, I am highly impressed that it worked how it was supposed to. Now, I had 2 kettles outside. One I did cold. I cleaned cold, and it worked fantastic. Then the other one is the one I heated up, let it all burn off, then cleaned it hot. And it was even better with the hot because you were really getting the full function of the steam, really attacking it. And the grates, Marvin, they're shining like a fresh snow in the moonlight. They're fantastic. And I know when we had spoken earlier, briefly before I got my hands on these, I was really interested in how you said, the flexibility of the sponge. And we all have cleaned our kettle grills, and we all know how much of a joy that is, especially to scrape not only the grates, but the inside of the kettle itself. And when you were talking about the flexibility of the sponge, I'm like, oh, that could possibly really catch the contour of the inside of the chamber of the kettle. And you had stops. He goes, you're going to get some of it. You're not going to get full contact because of the trying to get the right angle. The plate here on the back prevents the full sponge fully contouring to the angles. but it did a fantastic job. But once we had said that, you had then said to me, actually, I was playing with it on my kettles, and I actually had come up with a different one that will work perfectly with the contour of it, and it is in prototype mode. But you said you actually had it with you, and you were willing to let me do my dirty work on it and put it through as many motions as I could. So we had said that it was fine to show, but here is the prototype, which is a half version of the GrillFighter, but it allows the full, you're getting a full clean sweep of the contour of the inside of the kettle. And both of these kettles needed it. And Marvin, first shot, I sprayed my normal degreaser, let that soak in a little bit.
Right.
And then I went at it with these, and it took everything off. Even the hard, everybody who owns Weber kettles knows that hard creosote film you get up around the rim of the kettle. Cut through it, no problem. You had to work. Don't get me wrong. You had to still had to put in a little elbow grease to it, but it held up. It cleaned it perfectly, hosed everything down, and they were shining. They were reflecting just like a brand new kettle. So you have a full believer in me on, obviously, the main GrillFighter, the new prototype GrillFighter, still waiting, whatever name this is going to come out with, and definitely the sponge also to get in a few little of the nooks and crannies in there. But yes, Marvin, it held up. I was afraid of the handle, but it allows a little bit of flexibility, but goes right back into original position. So yeah, it's right on.
It's full tang stainless steel. The part of the handle I was afraid was going to break was the part that I put the rubber band on, which were those plastic pieces, because those are just hand assembled, and I was afraid the screws might come loose. Whereas on the production version, of course, of the GrillFighter, it's riveted. The prototype was just screwed on, and so hence the rubber bands.
Yeah.
But the full tang, was also purposeful. I wanted this to be as indestructible as I could make it. We're not saying it's going to come with a lifetime guarantee, but I'm hoping that it will last a very, very long time. And if of course, if there are any problems with it, I'll replace it. By the way, speaking of prototypes, you got me thinking about another one of my prototypes, which I can bring this weekend if you want to see it. You mentioned about the little curlicues and stuff. This is something I call the mace. And you'll notice all the cutouts at the top. This is basically a double-sided version of the pincer that is at the back of the GrillFighter.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a double-sided version of it. So this is going to be perhaps a standalone tool for people who, and it'll be very inexpensive to make, who want to be able to clean the top and the bottom of the grates and get into all that, for fine tuning, either standalone or as a supplement to using the GrillFighter.
Okay. All right. There we go. Right. I love it. Kevin Hernandez, my pizza burn. What's up, brother? Wish you could make it up for this weekend, brother. Wish you could have made it up. It's gonna be a time. But Marvin, I do have a question from a young man who is a great follower, our friend Braden, and he had asked me about who I was having on this week, and I explained you and I explained the products, and he asked, did the idea of this come from you possibly getting one of the metal bristles from your traditional scrapers out on the market in your food?
Right, right. Well, I sort of buried the lead. When I began this, I had a list of criteria. And of course, it had to be safe. It had to be durable, but it really had to be safe. And I had read up about the danger of metal bristles. And really, when you think about it, well, a wire brush is the absolute perfect grill cleaner once. After you use it once, the bristles begin to bend, they begin to come weak, they get gunked up, you can't clean them. But a wire brush is a great tool. That's why they use it to remove paint off of battleships. But it really doesn't hold up. But in order to simulate that kind of strength, granularity, and yet abrasive force, I had to reinvent chainmail and then come up with the backing, namely silicone. So effectively, the silicone as the flexible backing for the square edge chainmail, I think completely simulates and replicates the effectiveness, including the granularity of cleaning of a wire brush, except for the difference being that this is indestructible and you can clean it in the dishwasher. By the way, I hope that this was designed to be able to be put in the dishwasher so you can clean it up. There's nothing that could be damaged by the dishwasher. What was your experience in cleaning the GrillFighter? Did you try it in the dishwasher, or how did you do that?
Well, I cleaned it by hand because my dishwasher is, I have two of them. One is a 16-year-old girl and one is a 15-year-old boy.
Okay.
So we're a little bit old school. So I actually went in and hand washed them, the best I could. And they cleaned up pretty well. There were a few little areas, obviously, because I'm not using as hot as a dishwasher gets. And the force of the water propelling throughout the dishwasher. But on the really, really hard, I guess, parts, I took we've all had them. I don't even know, one of the little hand brushes. You would
Sure.
use a mechanic would use to
Yeah,
clean under
yeah.
the nails. I just had some dish soap on that and went at it with that, rinsed it off, back to pristine. So the cleaning of them was very easy.
I don't know if you can see, but part of the design spec to make it cleanable in a dishwasher is the frame is perforated, although it's perforated offset from the cutouts of the silicone. And we did that because it's functional, but it's also, if you look at it, I think it makes a very nice pattern. I like to do things that are useful, but also beautiful.
There we go. We're up close on that one. That shows the offset.
But when you put it in the dishwasher, yours is much better. The water, the high pressure water of the dishwasher can go right through the frame and then right through the sponge. Again, endless prototyping to figure out how to get that to work. By the way, speaking of prototypes, another prototype, which I can bring you if you like, is I have a variation of this, which is designed for cleaning griddles. Now, in this case,
Oh,
I reverted to smooth chainmail because I don't want to scrape the surface of a griddle.
mhm.
And so I borrowed from the concept of what I use for cast iron, but I'm using a much finer diameter. So it's got a little bit more oomph than this, but not so much that it'll take the surface off the griddle. And you'll notice that for a griddle, I have this feature, so you can actually, well, you can clean a griddle. So I
Oh,
can bring you
wow.
as well if you'd like to see it. It's yet another one of the products in the pipeline that I've got coming.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Jeff is saying, on that we want to see the flat tops are huge. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's our friend Jeff Cohen from the Baseball and Barbecue podcast. And earlier, I put his comment up, but I failed to mention him. Our other friend from the Baseball and Barbecue podcast, Mr. Len Aberman. Thank you, boys, for tuning in, and thank you guys for, introducing Marvin and myself together. And I truly, truly appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, Marvin, it's an incredible product. I was extremely impressed because, like a lot of us, excuse me, I have more scrapers in my garage or in a 5-gallon bucket out by the smokers and everything. Like on my big smoker, I went to our local restaurant depot and I bought what they called it's a pizza oven cleaner. And it's the bristles, and they're both on big size, but it's 4 feet long.
Yeah.
So I could reach into the chamber of the big rig smoker, but this blew it away. It took it right. It took all the heavy stuff, and there's some heavy stuff on that one, and it took it off with ease.
By the way, it's
Ease
funny you mentioned
and
that. Yeah, go ahead.
and the cleanliness of it, because with that, what they call the pizza oven cleaner, you're scraping those bristles, and you step back, and my prep table that's on it is just covered in gook. My shirt and my apron is covered in that, because the bristles, as you pulling back and forth, as you're pulling them back, the bristles are flicking back at you, flicking all that grease and dirt and everything right back. Not this. Keeps it all, everything falls to the bottom, and you just, scrape it out and wipe it up. And it was good. So the cleanliness of using it. But like you said, I have a whole collection of those metal bristles. And like you said, there's some that are completely, the front third is completely flat, and the last third is still pristine because the angle's wrong. Or,
Right.
I at least every year we're all buying a brand new scrape brush every year, almost guaranteed, especially with us because of the amount of cooking we all do. We burn through them. We have literally probably a good chance of going through 2 or 3 a year. And like I said, after putting these through the ringer yesterday, this is the one you need.
Wow.
And it's
Well,
it's going to last.
by the way, apropos of that, part of my design spec was I wanted to create not just a grill cleaner, but basically a flexible rasp. Now I'm not saying that you should do this, but I'm working on variations of this tool with removable handles, specifically for use around the kitchen, but also the bathroom and even the workshop. In developing this, one of the tests we undertook was to remove wallpaper with the GrillFighter, because the idea was it's a flexible rasp, an indestructible rasp, but flexible. Now this it could actually be even more aggressive than what I've designed for grills. But the concept behind it, I'm not saying you should use it on your wallpaper and your paint. It's not optimized for that. But when I recently repainted the house, they actually removed the wallpaper with the GrillFighter. We then cleaned it really well and went back to using it for its other purposes. But I'm hoping if people buy it, they'll send me ideas. They'll send me ideas for what they think it could be used for. Send me pictures of them using it. And ideas for other products that we might be able to create for them. By the way, of course, I like it when people go to our website, grillfighter.tools. That when you buy from our website, we know who you are. We can provide better service. But in this world, it's also important to develop a good reputation on Amazon. Sad story. We launched just 2 weeks or so ago on Amazon. One of the Amazon system said the way to launch, the best practice is you need to get reviews. And if you agree to give away some free samples through a program called Find, we'll find people that are really top flight, upstanding people. They will use your product and write a review. And if it's a good product, you're good as gold. Anyway, we got 2 reviews. One of them said they really liked it, but thought it was a little bit expensive. At the time, we were selling the combo for $79, which was on par with what people were paying for sort of the combo available from Grill Rescue, which is a steam cleaner out there. We lowered the price to $59. Fair enough. The other person gave me like a 1. Why? They said, they went in and they actually wrote this. They said, it claims you could do steam cleaning, but it's clearly a sponge. So everyone knows that sponges will melt if you put them on a grill, unless, of course, it happens to be specifically scientifically designed, made of FDA food-safe silicone. And they said that this cotton-backed, canvas, very expensive to make apron, full color, was made of plastic, and that it would melt if you got too close to the grill. So without having done any research, ever used it, they gave me a horrible review. Well, I have 3 reviews in Amazon right now. One from somebody I don't know, not a friend or relative who just liked it and wrote a review. One from a Vine reviewer who got it for free, who said they liked it, but it was a little expensive. All right, fair enough. I'd gotten that feedback. We lowered the price. The other person gave me like a 1. So you go to the Amazon right now, and we have like a 3-point-something review, which is the average of 3 reviews, which can be off-putting if people don't see, oh, there's only 3. And one of them seems to have been written by somebody who maybe didn't actually use the product that he got for free. Anyway, so I love it for people to buy, from grillfighter.tools. But if some of you want to buy from Amazon, and if you like it, then write a review. So we have more than 3. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, and Jeff Cohen is saying, Marvin, check out the 3rd review.
Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe it was somebody I know.
There you go. And Jeff Costa, he says, all he needs is a cigar holder for this right above the beer opener. Well, Jeff, I was saw your comment, and I'm looking at where the beer holder is. Now, I don't know what ring gauge that is, but I just happen to have a desktop humidor sitting right here, and I am taking out a, can't remember which one it is, but a Padron Anniversario, which is the 1964. But Jeff, it fits perfect. Actually, it's a little bit bigger for that ring gauge, Let's see. Hold on here. Hold on, Marvin. You
Go
might have
bigger.
actually added something to this without even knowing it. Where are we? Where are we?
Here, I thought I was just creating something to hang it onto the grill.
Voila!
Oh my gosh.
There it is.
Johnny,
That's probably about a 52 ring gauge, I'd say. Give or take 50, 52. You know, so it's you indirectly built a cigar holder too. And Jeff goes, I want my cut. You didn't even know, you were just throwing shit against the wall, Jeff, and it stuck. But yeah, this Jeff Costa from Waypoint Barbecue, he's good, Marvin. He's gonna be absolutely love to put this through a test for you. And because he said early, he's looking real. He's looking forward to seeing this in action this weekend. And as far as this weekend goes, I know obviously Jeff is going to be there. Matt Perez earlier, he's going to be there. A bunch of the competitors, but you are actually going to be there because when you had said, send me your address, I can send you this, and you said, oh, Barnstead, New Hampshire. I'm actually in Waterville. How about I just drop it off? And then we were talking back and forth, and I had asked, how long are you actually up here? And you said a month. And the timing of this is impeccable. It is impeccable because obviously we're leading up into this is comp week. So the weekend before, I always clean everything and organize everything. So I was able to put everything through the tests yesterday. And you're going to be up here and are able and will be joining us at the contest at the Chick Farm Classic in Litchfield, New Hampshire. And you're going to have a few of these, with you and, demonstrating it with the boys. And also once the gates open, the public will be there and, we'll figure out a way you can show it off to, the public because God knows we'll have enough dirty, grill surfaces, we can scrape. But yes, so guys, Marvin will be joining us on Saturday, correct? Yes, I think that's what we were talking about in the email this afternoon. And the gates for the public open at 11. And I was talking with Matt, and he said, probably, for the best before too much of the chaos starts, if you want to get there, about 10 o'clock, you'll have full access to all the cooks, so that you can get definitely some one-on-one time with everybody to really, to show everything. And then after that, you can attack the crowd as much as you want and, take orders or push them into the thing and make sure they hit the purchase button right there in the field. And, we'll get a bunch of these on the market. But like you said, I am a believer. You have it in me, and I'll rig it some way on Amazon to get a review of this because, like I said, guys, in Marvin, I put this to the woodshed yesterday, and I put all of them to the woodshed, and they passed with flying colors, and I'm a believer. I am a believer, brother, and I thank you for your innovation and your thought of all this.
So that I wasn't just making it up. This is another one of my products. It's a survival tool. It's a self-powered generator, water purifier, fire starter, many things. But anyway, it's also just shipping. But Jeff, I so like your idea. When I see you on Saturday, I will give you your very own GrillFighter. So thank you for that idea about the cigar. And of course, thank you, Johnny, for actually proving it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what, we love our barbecue, and we also love our cigars in between all the time we are cooking, free time we have in between checking on the barbecue. But yeah, I'm really looking. Like I said, this lined up perfectly, and I can't thank Len and Jeff enough for for introducing us. And the timing was perfect coming into the comp, and you're going to be here for for the comp, so you be able to come down, and that's some what do they call it in the business, direct to consumer link. You're going right to the people that you're looking to get introduced these products to. And Bill's Grill Scrapers, Great Scrapers, what better place to show it off than a barbecue competition?
Well,
And it worked out perfect. So I'm excited to meet you in person, and show all the boys this, because a lot of the guys, and a lot of them vouch. We get a lot of stuff over the years of products and things like that, and a lot of I like a lot of stuff, and there's only there's been a few that I will truly stand by, and this is going to be one of them, because if anybody saw those two kettles yesterday morning and see them now, you were sold. Because
wow.
they were down, dirty, and disgusting, and they cleaned right up, and like I said, no worse for the wear, and it went fantastic, easy clean. Like you said, with the water, works even better, and how it just adheres to the silicon. Unlike we refer to it as a silicon sponge. It obviously does not absorb, but it holds the water particles, and you get right in with the steam on it, and it does wonders. So, like I said, I can't wait for you to get out there on Saturday and show these boys these guys are gonna love it.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
fully convinced on it that yeah, if I give it my nod, and they're definitely going to give it the nod, because they're going to see it firsthand. And yeah, for what you did and have come up with this, my hat's off to you, sir. Thank you for innovation in your taking time and thinking of these. Bring gloves, because Bubba is huge. Yeah, Jeff's got a big smoker. So he goes, if you want him to come up, feel free. So we got plenty of surface to clean to show everybody. We'll gather everybody around Bubba, and we'll show how the GrillFighter works. But like I said, thank you, Marvin, for the products. Thank you for allowing me to put them through the motions. And thank you for your time in joining me to get the word out on GrillFighter and your product lines. And I so look forward to this weekend to meet you in person, and spend some time with you, and we'll talk barbecue, shop, and cleaning, and a little bit of everything. We're gonna have a good old time for ourselves, for sure.
And maybe a few tunes.
A few tunes, yes. I forgot
Jeff
about
has
that.
heard me play the violin at a show near him when in between talking about the Grill Fighter, I was doing some bluegrass and klezmer and show tunes and folk music, and
Yeah,
had fun with that.
yeah, absolutely, and an accomplished violinist also. So we got a true Renaissance man on our hands here, folks. Plays the violin, and also not afraid to get dirty on the grill, or clean that grill, as we shall. But Marvin, like I said, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and like I said, I'm behind you. I'm behind the GrillFighter 1,001%. Um, like I said, it held up to me and it cleaned my stuff. And I'm convinced that the guys are going to be standing in the same corner with me come Saturday when they see these items in action. So let's do it, brother.
I can't wait, and I'll bring some of my other prototypes. I have even others that I'm tinkering with that I'd love to show you and get your feedback on.
Oh, and we're the perfect group because, like you said, we try to figure out every use on every little thing, and it's very simple. Oh, that looks like a cigar holder. As a matter of fact, it works. There you go. Just little things, and we're always thinking. But yeah, this is going to be a great time this Saturday. Like I said, folks, if you're in the area, Litchfield, New Hampshire. Saturday, gates open to the public at 11 at Chick Farm, CHIK Farms Woodworking is the name of the business, and that you can get the address. I don't have the physical address with me right now, but just put that in your Google Maps or whatever, and it'll bring you right there on Saturday. Starts at 11. I believe it's parking is $10. Then they're selling $10 plates for people's choice. There's a handful, maybe about 5, maybe 6 teams doing that. So you can do that. Then there's going to be a couple food trucks, non-barbecue food trucks there. And, come on out, enjoy, meet a couple of these guys, ask some questions, get some tips. And, if you run into Marvin, make sure you place an order.
By the way, Johnny, I realized I really buried the lead. I've been waiting to show this to you, and I completely forgot. August Bon Appetit.
Yes.
It's only in print at the moment. In a few days, it'll be online. Under Grate barbecue tools, the first product reviewed is the GrillFighter.
GrillFighter.
And in the review, they say, it is truly the most effective grill cleaning tool we've ever used. This is August Bon Appetit. So our first our first review, actually our second. Barbecue News was our first, and this is our second review.
Yes. In the Barbecue News, that was with Chef Ray Sheehan, correct?
Right. It was
I believe.
I'm just blanking. 1 second.
Trying to think of which one I had. The December issue.
Just a moment.
Was it this one?
If you look at barbecue, you'll see that the
Marvin, this one.
Yeah.
This episode, this
Barbecue
issue.
News magazine.
Yeah, the December issue.
Right.
Let me look real quick because I think it should either that or the national or the November. Where is Ray Sheehan?
I don't remember the date, but I can send it to you. But that was our first. That was our first published review, and they have it on Instagram as well. By the way, I'm sort of new to all this social media stuff, but my daughter tells me that I should ask everyone to take pictures and put them on Instagram, and that somehow people will figure out it's the GrillFighter if they mention that word. So that's as much as I know about social media.
No, it is. Yeah, and it's definitely the December issue of Barbecue News magazine, and it's the Grill Masters Holiday Gift Guide by our dear friend of the show, Chef Ray Sheehan.
Oh, okay.
And we actually had him on. I had him on to go over that last holiday season. So yeah, I remember it. And so yeah, guys, go through the stack and check it out. You'll get the whole Ray's whole write up on that in the December issue.
By the way, Johnny, I mentioned my Lifesaver, and I'm not trying to sell this. This is still this is actually on crowdfunding on Indiegogo. But I can also, if you want, start a fire, at the barbecue show, because in addition to a water purifier, it has a fire starter and a whole bunch of other things. It's basically a multi-purpose survival tool.
I love it.
I'll help start some of the fires using my survival tool.
Sounds good, and we'll probably be figure out everything that it's used for, we'll find probably a good handful of them we could use at a barbecue competition too. And it looks like it packs away nice and easy, which we're all big fans of, because
Okay.
space is starting to get very thin on fitting stuff. And when you roll into a barbecue competition and you see everybody and everything is so organized and in its place and neatly packed away in it, and then you see the same pack job on Sunday afterwards, and it's two different worlds. One is precision, jigsaw puzzled packing, and on Sunday it's a mountain in the back of the truck and go.
By the way, before we close, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever showed a picture of the sort of the ascent to your house. You're on I guess a packed dirt road, which is very steep. And then as I came to it, suddenly there's a sharp left turn. Was more than 90 degrees up a hill, your driveway, and there's sand at the bottom. And my 4-wheel drive Outback, I've never had it spin tires before. Mm-hmm. And now but at the top of the hill, you have this amazing grill machine, which I guess must attach to, I don't know, a tank or something. How do you get it out of your driveway and out of your development?
Secret
I can't imagine.
When you had said that, I'm like, really, he had a hard time getting in. And then I'm like, his directions must have taken him in the back way. So he must have been coming up the hill. Yes, right. If you come up this hill and take a left into your driveway, I don't care who you are, you're not getting in. It will not happen. You have to come down the hill. So if you were to, where you took that initial right to come down, then back up the hill, if you had gone the next block up and took the right, it would have took you to the top of the hill here. And you would have came right in, did a little lean to the left and take the right in. That's how I always come in.
You have to basically accelerate down the hill so you can then go up your driveway. I tell you, I failed the IQ test. I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
I've got into that driveway that way once, and my wife was horrified. And she saw me do it, and I spun tires, but I got in, and her face was white as a ghost. She's like, "What?" She goes, "You are only on 3 wheels. The front passenger wheel was off the ground." I'm like, "Okay, so we won't do that ever again." No,
it wasn't just me.
No. And when I leave, I either can angle it to go up the hill, or I just take a wide turn and head down the hill. So getting out is no problem. I can go either way, but getting back in, it has to be down the hill and into the driveway. That's the secret of getting into the driveway of my house. Yeah.
All right. Well, next time. Thank you so much for Johnny for having me, and of course to my friends from barbecue and baseball who were so generous in recommending me to you.
Oh yeah, and here we go, Jeff Costa, Waypoint Barbecue. He goes, big letters, so he means it. Oh, you got to bring that. So he's talking about the lifesaver.
Yeah,
so bring that
if you go on the internet, you'll see that. Well, we also just released this, just the first few hundred of them, and I'm pleased to say that, as my mother would say, people who aren't relatives actually say nice things about it. But you decide for yourself.
Absolutely. But like I said, thank you for your time, Marvin. I appreciate it. Great products, and me and clearly the rest of the boys are looking forward to meeting you in person this coming weekend.
And don't forget the cigars.
Oh, we got plenty of those. There will be no shortage of cigars there. Absolutely, brother. Well, like I said, thank you so much, and we will see you this weekend. And just hang on 1 second. I'll jump right back with you. That's it, folks, for this week. And like I said, an incredible product. I ran this through the gauntlet on both the copper kettle, the performer kettle, and the grates on the open pit on Miss Mary and the chamber in Miss Mary herself. And it held up. Cleans easy. Like you said, it's probably even easier in the dishwasher. But I hand cleaned it with ease. And yeah, you guys are going to be impressed. It does an incredible job. But like I said, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. Catch the video, YouTube, Facebook. Catch the audio on all audio platforms. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeart, the whole nine. Anywhere an audio podcast can be found, you can find us. Questions and comments, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. Like always, subscribe, like, rate, and review. Next week, we're hopefully, I'm hoping, and it's going to be tight, and I have to cook my best cook, but I'm going to hope that there's some more hardware in this general area. One particular of a belt buckle that's about that big, but yeah, we're gonna give it hell. So yeah, we'll probably be recapping the competition from this weekend. So tune in for that. And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.